I remember I did many cases, very, very many cases, but I will always remember this murder trial that I conducted when I was a High Court judge. There were two accused persons, husband and son, accused of murdering wife and mother. They were of Asian origin, and I had this case to deal with. A lawyer who had always been for the defendant, who had always been for the accused persons, was the prosecutor. He's now dead, God rest his soul. And a very prominent prosecutor, who was prosecutor in the government, was now the one defending the accused person. So it was very interesting because quite often they clashed. And one would remind the other, but you've always done the prosecution, and one, the other, you've always done that. But anyway, that's besides the point. The facts of this case, very briefly, were, in my view, very sad in that this woman was burnt in her kitchen, but she did not die there. And one of the things that came out during the trial was that there was suspicion by the husband that perhaps she was seeing somebody, or somebody was seeing her or admiring her. So this was, within the Asian community, is something that would be termed like honor killing. But I treated this matter, and I took the evidence and I looked at this case like any other allegation of murder. In fact, this word honor killing never even came out inside the courtroom, though I saw it in the newspaper reported, but it never came out in the courtroom during the evidence. I went to see the kitchen where she was burnt. Of course, there was on the walls things like that, and smoke or something like that. Though later on, after we had been at trial for quite some time, the accused side asked the court to move again to the scene, and of course that time those things were not there on the wall. But that's another story, because we had been there. But what's so interesting, after I'd had the evidence, I considered in fact, the young man, the boy, turned 18 in my court. I remember the morning that I was told he had turned 18, I remember wishing him happy birthday. He was the son of this woman, and the son of this woman and this man. So anyway, I considered the evidence and finally convicted the husband of murder and acquitted the boy. Why? Because I felt that if the boy was involved, he was acting under the authority of the father. And this case then finally went on appeal, and the appeal judges released him. They said that I should have pursued the side of honor killing, of the fact that she was accused of, or suspected or accused. But that evidence never came out in the courtroom. But anyway, so after about, upon his release from prison, because the Court of Appeal did not agree with me, the three judges, who were male judges, did not agree with me, I said, fine. But this, I really kept on thinking about what I had and what I saw, because she was taken to the hospital. She was driven to the hospital by her husband and the son, these two accused persons. And the husband remained in the car, but the boy, her son, walked with her into the casualty. And when she arrived in the casualty, she was really badly burnt. And I think that's where she finally collapsed, in the casualty. And they were so alarmed because they came to give evidence, and they asked her, what happened? And she kept on telling them, ask my son. What happened? How did you get burnt like this? Ask my son. Of course, the son didn't talk, and she never said anything beyond, ask my son. So anyway, upon release by the Court of Appeal from prison, I think it took about a week. So when he told me, Judge, you are right, I asked him, what do you mean? He said, you remember the client that I defended before you? I said, yes. And I know the matter went to the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal did not agree with you. He said, Judge, that's why I've come to see you, because I felt very strongly I should come and tell you this. He was released by the Court of Appeal. He went home. And I think the second or third day, upon going home, he died in his sleep. So he said, Judge, that is a sign that you are right. I think God above agreed with you that you are right. You know, I didn't know what to tell this lawyer. I just said, thank you for telling me. That's all I could say. So my consideration of the evidence and my sensitivity as a woman, I was so sure that I was right all along, because the evidence in my view was overwhelming. This murder trial, I was proud of my decision because I was right. And I have done so many cases that without prior preparation or thinking about through them, I've done cases of adoption where I have been, people have met, people have written to me, people have come back on holiday in Kenya, come to the courts, looked for me and showed me how the baby has grown, is developing, is a young girl, a young man. And I think overall I can say I am proud of the decisions I have made to develop the law. It's been a long time. I have never done any job, any work, any job outside the judiciary.